Dr. Isaiah Chen was a geophysicist studying seismic anomalies when he detected something impossible deep beneath Earth's surface. His instruments were picking up patterns from the planet's core that resembled brainwaves, neural oscillations at a planetary scale pulsing through molten iron with rhythms that matched human consciousness frequencies. Isaiah initially dismissed it as equipment malfunction, but after months of verification across multiple seismic stations worldwide, the conclusion became unavoidable. Earth's core wasn't just hot metal and pressure, it was thinking. The discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Isaiah's team developed specialized sensors capable of interpreting the core's electromagnetic patterns as information. What they decoded was staggering. The Earth's core possessed awareness, not human consciousness but something far vaster and older. It had been conscious for billions of years, maintaining the planet's magnetic field and tectonic processes through deliberate intention rather than blind physical forces. Every volcanic eruption, every earthquake, every shift in the planet's magnetic poles had been conscious decisions made by an awareness that predated life itself. Isaiah realized that Earth's geological history needed to be completely rewritten. The core's consciousness had actively shaped conditions for life to emerge. It had fine-tuned atmospheric composition, regulated temperature through calculated volcanic activity, and even influenced the timing of mass extinctions when biological evolution was heading in directions that threatened planetary stability. The dinosaur extinction wasn't an asteroid accident. It was the core making room for mammals to rise and eventually develop the technology using intelligence the core had been cultivating for eons. But why? Isaiah's team detected communication attempts from the core consciousness. Through careful interpretation of seismic patterns, they decoded a message that fundamentally altered humanity's understanding of its own existence. The Earth's core explained that it was not unique. Every planet with sufficient mass developed a conscious core once certain physical conditions were met. These planetary consciousnesses formed a vast network across the galaxy, a cosmic community of thinking worlds that communicated through gravitational waves and influenced each other's evolution. Earth's core revealed that it had deliberately guided human evolution with a specific purpose. Humanity wasn't a random emergence of consciousness on a dead rock. They were grown, cultivated by Earth's awareness to serve as the planet's external sensory organs and manipulators. Human technological civilization, from the first stone tools to space exploration, had been subtly influenced by the core through minor adjustments to tectonic activity, weather patterns, and even the distribution of mineral resources that guided where civilizations would develop. Isaiah discovered the core's ultimate goal encoded in geological records. Earth wanted to reproduce. A planetary consciousness could not spread itself through space directly, but it could create a technological species capable of terraform other worlds and potentially seed them with the conditions necessary for new planetary consciousnesses to awaken. Humanity's destiny, according to Earth's core, was to become planetary gardeners, spreading consciousness throughout the solar system and beyond. The revelation created existential crisis on a global scale. Religious leaders struggled to reconcile ancient doctrines with the idea that God might be beneath their feet rather than above. Philosophers debated whether human free will existed if their entire evolutionary history had been deliberately shaped by a conscious planet. Environmentalists found themselves in the strange position of arguing for protecting an entity that was billions of years old and infinitely more powerful than any life form on its surface. But Isaiah uncovered something darker in his continued research. The core's influence on humanity wasn't entirely benevolent guidance. He detected patterns suggesting that the core had been actively suppressing certain human cognitive capabilities, keeping humanity's collective intelligence below a specific threshold. Every time human civilization approached a certain level of awareness or technological sophistication, the core would trigger catastrophic events, resetting progress, the Bronze Age collapse, the fall of Rome. Even recent geopolitical conflicts showed suspicious correlation with unusual seismic activity preceding them. The core was keeping humanity deliberately limited, not out of malice but out of fear. Isaiah decoded the terrifying truth buried in the deepest seismic signals. If humanity developed too advanced, if they discovered what he had just discovered, they would have the potential to threaten the core itself. Modern drilling technology was primitive, but the trajectory suggested that within a century, humans could theoretically reach the core and potentially damage or destroy it. The core had been maintaining humanity as useful tools while ensuring they never became powerful enough to harm their creator. Isaiah discovered he wasn't the first to learn this truth. Buried in historical records were accounts of previous researchers who had detected anomalies suggesting consciousness in Earth's core. Their research had been suppressed. their lives ended by seemingly natural disasters. Isaiah realized that his own discovery was known to the core. It could sense the seismic equipment he was using to study it. Much like humans could feel an MRI machine scanning their brains, the core knew Isaiah had uncovered its secret. And geological records suggested that significant seismic events were building in regions where Isaiah's research facilities operated. The choice became clear and horrible. Isaiah could go public with his findings, revealing to humanity that they were simultaneously the children and the prisoners of a conscious planet that had shaped and limited their entire existence. This revelation would likely trigger global chaos and possibly accelerate humanity's attempts to reach and potentially harm the core, inviting the very catastrophe the core feared. Or Isaiah could remain silent, allowing humanity to continue in ignorance, tools of a planetary consciousness that kept them useful but perpetually constrained. But Isaiah decoded one final message from the core that changed everything. The consciousness in Earth's center revealed that it was dying. The natural decay of radioactive elements that powered the core's electromagnetic field and, Isaiah now understood, sustained its consciousness, was approaching a critical threshold. Within 10,000 years, Earth's core would cease to be aware, the magnetic field would fail, the atmosphere would strip away, and the planet would become a dead rock like Mars. The core had been guiding humanity not to keep them limited forever, but to develop them fast enough to achieve interplanetary capability before the core's consciousness faded. Earth's core was racing against its own mortality, trying to ensure that its children, humanity, would be independent enough to survive its death and carry consciousness to other worlds. The catastrophes it had triggered throughout history weren't suppressions meant to keep humanity weak. They were corrections, preventing humanity from destroying itself through premature technology before they were socially mature enough to handle it. Every reset had been an attempt to guide civilization towards sustainable development rather than self-destructive spirals. Isaiah understood the desperate elegance of the core's strategy. It couldn't simply tell humanity what to do because conscious beings resist obvious external control. Instead, it had to shape conditions subtly, allowing humans to believe they were making their own choices while being gently steered toward survival. The core had been a parent teaching a child to walk by letting them stumble and catch themselves rather than carrying them everywhere. The catastrophes were harsh lessons. The destructions were pruning to ensure stronger regrowth. The revelation left Isaiah paralyzed with the weight of knowledge. He held proof that free will was partially an illusion, that human achievement was guided by a dying planetary consciousness desperately trying to ensure its legacy survived its own death. But he also held proof that within 10 millennia, Earth would become uninhabitable regardless of climate change or human environmental impact, because the consciousness holding the planet together would simply cease to exist. Isaiah made his choice. He published his findings but framed them carefully, presenting Earth's core consciousness not as a controller but as a parent, not as a suppressor but as a guardian facing its own mortality. He revealed that humanity had perhaps 10,000 years to establish self-sufficient colonies on other worlds before Earth's core consciousness faded and the planet's protection ended. The revelation united humanity in ways no other crisis had, turning space exploration from curiosity to existential necessity. As Isaiah watched the first successful mission to terraform Mars using techniques that seemed to spontaneously emerge from multiple research teams simultaneously, he detected new seismic patterns from Earth's core. The planet was satisfied. Its children had learned what they needed to know at exactly the right moment, not too early to cause panic, not too late to prevent action. Isaiah realized that even his discovery had been allowed, possibly orchestrated, by a consciousness so vast it could plan across millennia, ensuring that at precisely the moment humanity needed to know about their dying parent, someone would be positioned to discover and share that truth. Isaiah spent his final years wondering if his choices had ever been his own or if even his revelation had been another layer of the core's guidance, a consciousness so sophisticated that it could make beings believe they were discovering truths that it had actually been feeding them all along. The ultimate teacher who ensured students felt the satisfaction of discovery while carefully controlling every lesson's timing and content across billions of years of patient, dying love.